All right, Karen, you're on.
The first thing we're going to go over is the transition as soon as you get to the triathlon. When you pick up your packet, you'll be receiving a chip that goes around your ankle. You'll be receiving a number that hangs on your bike right here. You'll be receiving a number that goes on the front of your helmet. And you'll be receiving a belt that you can either pin to your shirt or wear on a belt that goes around you. Those are the required things that you need on you for the race. One of the things to remember is you are not allowed on your bike at all without a helmet. If you're just bringing your bike into the transition area and you're wearing it and you don't have your helmet on, you will be disqualified. It's a rule. You have to have the caps in your handlebars here. If you don't have caps, they usually have some there that you can put in, but that's required. When you come to the transition area, there's going to be long bars for placing your bike. A lot of times your race number will be on the bar. That is where your bike has to go. If your bike is not in your numbered spot, they will move it and not tell you, or they might move it and tell you. So make sure you have your numbered, where your bike is numbered matches the number on the bar. Sometimes it's not numbered and it's just a section and it will go from like 100 to 150. So you have to make sure your number fits in there. The bikes are set up so that they're opposite facing. They hook onto the bar by the seat. You have about the width and length of a towel folded in 4 to place out your tri-stuff. So your stuff will go to the right of your bike. The person who has their bike facing the opposite way, they get it on the right by the front tire. The best thing to do is line your stuff up according to the event. So you're going to have your swim stuff first, your bike stuff second, your running stuff third. I find it's best to keep my helmet up here, so as soon as I'm done my swim stuff, my helmet goes on first so I know it's on. You will disqualify without a helmet. A lot of people wear gloves. You don't have to. It's just an extra time, time consuming in your transition, since your transition time is timed and it's part of the race. So the less time you spend here, the shorter time you have. I normally, in my triathlons, I don't wear my gloves. So I don't take them on and then real sweaty take them off before the run. I have my shoes, I have my glasses. I next have my belt with my number on it. So, and then I have my running shoes, which they're not my running shoes. Yeah. That's where I would put my running shoes. And then you can put your bag at the top. This is about the size of the bag that they like for you to have. So try to fit everything into it, and then it can stay right here in front of your bike. It's good to make sure you have at least 2 water bottles because there's no water on the bike route. So you have to supply your own water for the bike.
Do normal water bottles fit in those?
Yes.
Okay.
Do people wear shirts typically coming from the water to the bike? Would you not want to put a shirt on and just go?
Some people do. I mean, you're in your bathing suit or your swimsuit for the swim, and then you can come up, and if you want a shirt, just have it here, and then you can put your shirt on really quick. You can't strip down past your underwear. Okay. So, but you can take stuff off and put stuff on, but nothing lower than the underwear.
It's not necessary to wear biking shorts, but usually what you're swimming in is fine.
Would you suggest wearing a shirt?
You don't swim in your biking shorts because that pad will absorb a lot of water and it will weigh you down. And it will be very uncomfortable to ride it with those bike shorts with a lot of water.
What about a wetsuit top for, I think the temperature is going to be like 73 degrees. Is that manageable to not have to wear a wetsuit tomorrow?
That is manageable, but not to have to wear a wetsuit with the temperature.
Do most guys, like, to go without a shirt?
Most guys wear a tri-suit.
Okay.
So it's either a 1-piece suit or a 2-piece suit that you can wear. The only difference is if it's 2-piece, it's easier to go to the bathroom than wearing 1 piece. But I mean, people people do a lot of triathlons just wear a tri-suit.
Okay.
But you see a lot of different outfits. But just, if you look for tri-shorts, they have a really thin padding. It's kind of like those things that you can wash your car off with, the chamois.
Yeah.
So they don't take up a lot of water. So once you get your bike set, and your stuff set, they will give you so much time to be in the transition area, and then they will close the transition area, and you will not be allowed back into the transition area until you enter it from the swim portion. So make sure whatever you want for the swim, you have with you when you head out, because you're not allowed back in. So I usually have my goggles. I wear earplugs because I don't like getting water in my ear. They will give you a swim cap that you can wear, and you can take that out, and you'll be corralled by the color of your cap into your groups to wait for the swim. One other thing, as you're coming into the transition area in the very beginning, you'll get a band. That is your band that allows you in and out of the transition area. If you don't have a band, you cannot be in the transition area. So they really do have good security there.
I saw numbers. They asked about numbers being written on you. Do you have to write?
You will have body markings. You will have, on your right calf will be your age. Great. On your arm will be your race number, and on top of your on this part of your leg will be your race number. So you're pretty well marked up with your numbers. And then you'll have the numbers on your bike, and then your race belt for the run. You must wear the race belt for the run. It's a penalty if you don't have it on during the run.
What if you're just wearing shorts and you don't have a race belt? Can you pin the number to your shorts?
You can pin the number to your shorts.
What about?
So you'll have to pin it to it then after you get out of the water and.
After the bike, after the water. Yes. A lot of times tomorrow night, they just, if they have like a lot of booths and stuff, they do give them away for free.
Okay.
Or they're just a couple dollars. And basically your number just slips on here, and then you slide that back on.
And that needs to be on for the bike and the run?
Just the run.
Oh, just the
And
run.
it just clips on.
So you can prep that beforehand, right, or no?
You can
Prep that.
You can have your number on it. A lot of times people come into the tri, take their shoes off, and they're running, and they're putting this on.
Now,
So
as far as socks go, do you put socks on for the bike, or?
I don't wear socks for the bike. I normally don't wear socks for the run.
Okay.
It's just because you want to save time. I will be wearing socks this time.
For the run.
For the run. So then again, you would want to have your socks nearby. I mean, you're coming out of the water dripping wet. You don't have time to dry off unless.
Do you go through sand, or like how can you wash your feet off? That if you have.
You can have a water bottle, and you just squirt in.
Okay.
Or you just don't care.
How about a little pan or a dish that you actually put your feet in? I saw that at the CrossFit Games.
They do have that, but you also have to remember they're trying to keep your bikes are this close. I mean, sometimes even closer. So
I'm just thinking, like if you bought like a frisbee, and you flipped it upside down, you put the frisbee and put water in it.
You can pretty much do that. Anything you want.
Are you in a sandy area where this transition is, or is it usually?
Sometimes it's just a grassy area.
Yeah.
But we'll be by the bay, so I'm going to say it's probably going to be sandy.
Yeah.
So the transition's now closed. We have our stuff, and we're going to head to the swim area. This is about the course. I think it's like that for the 400. It's up over.
Yes, it goes out. Yep.
So we're all going to be corralled in this area. When they call your cap color, you'll go into the water, and we're going to actually kind of swim over to the start. There's usually a period of 4 minutes between each section, and you just sit here and you tread water while you're waiting for your heat to start. As you're swimming, it's really good once you get into the water, count how many buoys. They're big orange triangular things that are in the water, and they will be, for this race, they will be to your left. So as you're swimming, make sure the buoys stay to your left. You don't want to cross into here you want to make sure you're staying out here. Your buoys are to the left. And it's helpful to know how many buoys, because as you're swimming and you're passing them, you can kind of count them off. And know, you're going to come up and you're going to turn, and then come over to here, turn, and come down to here.
Are you allowed to touch the buoys?
You can touch the buoys. They do get crowded if you're swimming close. It's good if you don't want, because you're going to get kicked, you're going to get hit if you get close to the buoy. So it's good to come out and then go around and come back in if you want to stay away from people. You'll see a lot of people. They will be freestyle, they'll be breaststroking, there'll be people backstroking, there'll be people side stroking. There will be kayaks and canoes all around in this area where there's lifeguards. At any time you may swim over to one, you may rest on it, but you cannot push forward off of it to start the race. You have to come off to the side and then start that, a disqualification. If you're in the water at any time you feel threatened, like you can't swim, take your cap off and wave it, and someone will come over and help you. You won't be disqualified. They'll help you, and then
unless you would say you were done, or
yeah,
something.
unless you say that you're done.
In any part of this area, can you stand?
No.
Is it typically, because I watched one where, as they were coming out of the water, it seemed like you could stand here. So if you were able to stand, are you allowed to run out of the water?
Yes, as soon as you can stand,
Okay.
you can come out of the water. But most times you get pretty close to the shore. It's not
Before you can stand.
before you can stand.
Okay.
So as you go around, make sure your buoys stay to the left. Make sure you turn at the end buoy. If you turn before, you get disqualified. While you're swimming, if you're swimming, it's a good idea as you're swimming to kind of look up and see where the buoy is so that you're staying straight. It's very easy to start veering off one side or the other depending on what type of breathing that you're using. So you want to always be kind of looking for these buoys. And they are quite big, you can't miss them.
How choppy is the water in the bay compared to the ocean?
I don't know.
Have you ever done a bay swim?
No.
Okay.
I do know you have to kind of get used to if it's really sunny and it's hard to spot, then find something, you know, on the horizon or something that you've noticed that you can see ahead of time, that you can keep looking at that to help keep you on course. Oh, the other thing about the transition, really remember where your bike is, because when you come out of the swim, you're going to be running up to it. So I take a towel that's very colorful or something just really different, so I can kind of pops out, and I get a bearing, like there's a tree here or there's something here, so I know where my bike is.
Is every transition entrance the same? Do you come
Yes.
in from the swim, come in
Yes.
from the bike in the same spot?
When you're going to finish the swim, most times they tell you to swim until your hands touch the bottom, and then you can get up and run. As you're running to the transition area, you can take your goggles off, you can take your swim cap off. If you wanted to change shirts, you could be taking your shirt off then. Most people who are wearing a wetsuit, by the time they're out, it will be completely down to around their waist. They're taking it down. Sometimes they have people here who help you out of the water, depending on just what it is like.
Yeah.
And whatever the ground is, that's what you're going to be running on. Pebbles, sticks, grass, you run. Everybody enters the transition area for the bike the same way. You come out of the water into the transition area, you run up to your bike, and you make whatever changes that you want to make with your clothes, with your shoes, and you get your bike. You're going to take your bike from the transition area and you're going to walk with your bike, run with your bike, not on your bike, next to your bike, to the area where you're allowed to mount. You'll cross over a time mat, and once you cross over that, there'll probably be like the word mount on the ground somewhere. You can mount your bike and start riding.
The first thing you do after the swim when you get to your bike, do you have to put your helmet on before you take it off the bar?
I do it just so I don't forget, because once you take it off the bar, there's nothing to hold it up anymore.
Right, so where was you're saying you had to have your helmet on by what point?
Anytime that you're sitting on your bike riding it,
Gotcha.
your helmet has to
So
be on.
just have it on before you leave the
Yeah.
transition?
Like there'll be people in the very beginning
Oh, yeah.
riding their bike into the whole area, and you can get disqualified if you're
And when you're coming off your bike, you must dismount before you get into the transition
Yes.
area, correct? And helmet's still on until you get in?
Yes. It's the best thing, that's why I say just put your helmet
put
on
it on.
first.
Gotcha.
Then it's out, you have your hands free, it's on, you know it. So you're gonna run, walk, however you wanna get to the mounting area with your bike, and then mount your bike. For the bike, there is no drafting. You must stay at least 3 bike lengths behind the person in front of you. At the point that you want to pass them, you must come out to the left and start passing. From the time you start that forward motion to pass them, you have 15 seconds to pass them and get back over to the right side of the road. While you're riding the bike, you must be on the right-hand side of the road at all times unless you're passing. You cannot ride next to each other. That's considered blocking. That's also a penalty. Anytime that you're within, it's about a 6-foot wide, 3 bike lengths long section. If you are in that section and you're not actively passing, you can get a 2-minute penalty. So you want to make sure that if you're getting close to that bike, that you're moving and you're passing it. One of the rules is if you are the person being passed, you are supposed to slow down so that the person can pass you. Yes, that really happened.
Yes.
But
Well, because you feel like it would cause if a guy speeds up.
Yes.
Now it causes
Yes.
that issue where you're side by
you're
side.
not
and you're in
allowed
that.
to speed up,
Yeah.
but you have to give them the way, you have to allow them to pass you.
Okay.
And you will notice, you could have 6 people out. This person's passing this person, this person's passing these 2 people, this person's passing these people, and this person is passing. So just, stay to the left, and as soon as you can get yourself back over, get over to the right. If you're riding on the left, that's a penalty.
That's usually probably a lot worse right in the beginning once you mount the bike till everything's
It's hard
separated.
to tell because everybody's getting out of the water at a different
Yeah.
time. Everybody takes different lengths of time in the tri area.
Okay.
So you're going to end up catching with only 4 minutes between heats. Most likely on the bike, you're going to be catching possibly
You'll be-
2 other
yeah.
heats.
Yes.
So it could create
Yes.
a lot of like.
You will notice it doesn't really get extremely crowded with the bike. Just the way that the course is, everybody's kind of moving.
Okay.
Everyone's moving forward, and you can just keep passing. I was in one where I was probably like the 5th person out passing somebody, and I still had somebody passing me. So that's on your bike. Be very careful with your water bottles. If you drop your water bottle and they see you drop your water bottle, it's a penalty. So be careful when you put it back into its holder. They do ask that if you drop it, you're supposed to get off your bike and pick it up and get it and get back on, which can be kind of dangerous if you have a lot of people around you.
So you can't ditch your water, like you can't like throw it to you.
Not the bottle.
Okay.
No. You can get off if you need to repair your bike, you can get off to the side of the road, repair your bike, get back on. A lot of times they do have support that will come and help you, but it's hard to tell
Should you go to
how
the
long.
right or the left to do that?
To the right.
Far right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like all the way to the shoulder of the road,
Sure.
and do that there.
Is the road closed that we're going to be on tomorrow?
It's closed road.
Okay.
Now I don't know. Is it?
It's Atlantic City Expressway,
Is it
I
a
believe.
loop?
Yeah.
It's out back.
It's
You guys international go up, back, come back past the area where you left originally, loop back around and come back through again.
I didn't read it.
We're up and back. We're just up.
Yeah.
Same as a swim.
So if you're
Out
in
and
and
back.
out, be very careful because the dismount area will probably be down here before the transition area. The right lane is for people going in. The left lane are for the people looping. If you happen to be in the left lane and you're not looping, they will not let you into the right lane to dismount.
They're not moving.
No, but
Just
you,
a longer ride. You're out back.
No,
longer than
you're
us.
not looping back through the
Yeah, it's
transition
not a-
area.
it's not a-
You're coming back past that area on the Atlantic City Expressway. So you've already mounted the bike. You go out, come back past that area. You're still on the bike.
oh, so we're not.
Yeah.
You're not
passing.
looping back through the transition area.
Okay.
But here's my question: if it's an out and back, then there's going to be riders coming this way So do you pass in the left side of the right lane then? Because you can
Yes.
go all the way to
Yes.
the left
And
lane.
we're going to be on the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're actually going to be on the opposite side of the road coming back.
Yeah.
Right. So you could.
So you wouldn't even they wouldn't be interfering with you at all.
Oh,
Well, you
'cause
have
it's
to be
AC
careful.
Express.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There's a meeting in between.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
just always stay.
So it's 4 lanes.
Yeah, towards the right-hand side of the road. Now, sometimes in tries, the way it works, you're actually, when you're coming around, the right-hand side is like the middle of the road.
Okay. Yep.
So you have to be careful with that, because then you have so they'll have a dismount area. They'll slow you down. You cannot get off your bike until you get to the dismount area. You get off your bike, and then you run back into the transition area. You're crossing a mat that will have your time, and then you come into the transition area. You have to put your bike back up on the rack, exactly where.
In the same spot?
In the same spot, in the same direction that you left it. Oh, that was the other thing I forgot. In the transition, you have to make sure that your bikes go opposite.
You did say that.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Because they will change it on you and mess you up.
Yep.
So you come back into the transition area, you take your bike helmet off, get your run number on, you get your sneakers, if you're changing shoes, you put your running shoes on, and the same thing, there'll be an area off different from the bike, like it might be over here, and you'll come out of the transition into the run area, and you'll do your run. There's really no rules for the run, other than just being courteous to the runners around you. You can run with somebody. You just can't have help from like out here running with you, like someone coaching you
Yeah.
from the outside. But you can, kind of run together if you want. Find somebody who has your pace, run with them. On the run, there will be water that you can get.
Do you use any other alternative fuels during that? Like hammers, gels, or anything like that throughout the race, depending on the distance?
I don't so much. I use Pedialyte
Okay.
for my
Fine,
electrolytes,
for the
and
drugs.
I could sometimes have fruit, like blueberries or raspberries.
At the transition spot, just to.
I would say for the distance that
Spring.
you're,
No worries.
it's not necessary. You're gonna, waste more time.
What about pre-race fuel? Like, what would you eat before a sprint? Like, how soon and what? How heavy do you eat?
I don't eat really heavy. I try to, my breakfast the day before, so on Friday, I'll have a really good balance between carbs and protein for my breakfast, not my dinner, but my breakfast. And then just kind of eat light through the day. Not a lot of fiber, because,
You want me to go to the bathroom?
I'll be going to the bathroom. And just like a normal, just something kind of light, lean for dinner. And I do eat breakfast the morning before. I usually eat around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And I make sure I have a banana.
I was gonna say fruit.
Just a banana, some fruit,
Eggs?
some cereal.
No.
I'm a cereal person.
Okay.
Sometimes I do a protein shake.
Okay.
And then I might have some fruit or something with me to eat while you're just mulling around in the transition area.
Gotcha.
So you're thinking, this maybe an hour and a half, 2
Yep.
hours, you wouldn't need that
Okay.
much. For longer distances,
Sure.
I'm going to have some more stuff with me because I'm doing the longer distance to refuel.
Have you ever noticed, Tanya was talking about with the people were cramping more at the games, drinking water, and not actually having something with electrolytes in it? Like people that actually had camelbacks filled with water, she was actually saying were noticing like Spieler, Ben Smith, a lot of those guys, whereas the other people were actually running with Gatorades and were doing coconut water and stuff like that, and noticed not nearly the severe cramping. Have you ever noticed that yourself personally, or no?
I noticed I always take something that have electrolytes in it on my bike, so I
Okay.
have that.
Okay.
So whether it's, I use Pedialyte, coconut water,
Yeah.
mixed Gatorade with water. I just find out plain Gatorade just dries my throat out so much, especially on the run. So I always I'll hit the Gatorade, get some Gatorade, get some water.
Okay.
Just so that you don't have that real dry mouth.
Sure.
Gatorade. But I don't think it's going to be extremely, when I did the She-Rocks, it was so hot.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be
nice.
They were giving us wet towels on the run. There were 3 sections. There
Because it was so hot.
Wet towels because it was so hot. So you're going to finish your run. You will not be coming back into the transition area. They'll have a finish area where you'll run through the finish line for your run. Now after the run, it usually takes about an hour to an hour and a half before you're allowed back into the transition area, because they don't want anybody going into there while there's still bikes and runners coming in and out. Now you will notice when you're in the transition area, depending on your heat and how fast you go, there still might be, you're coming in with your bike, runners will be coming out. So you just have to be, cautious of the other athletes when you're going back and forth.
Cool.
So, anything else you think I missed?
No, it's good. What's your race going to be, time-wise? What's an international race time? Not putting you on the spot to make you feel pressure for your time, but what's like an international time that is...
I haven't really looked like what people do. I'd like...
How long does it take you to do a mile swim?
42 minutes.
Jeez. I would drown.
I will be wearing my wetsuit.
Okay.
For that distance.
Yeah, that's what I read. Like the shorter distance, you can get away with colder water because you're in and out.
During the swim, it's an area where, you start swimming and in that first 100 meters, you feel like you're going to drown.
Yeah.
Your heart's racing just from the adrenaline of being in it, and that's the first event, and you kind of always tend to start off just a little bit faster than you should, and you get into it and you think, I'm going to drown. There's no way I'm going to do this. Roll over on your back, do a couple backstrokes, do a couple breaststrokes. Just catch your breath.
Yeah.
As much as possible, try not to tread water, because every time you lower your whole center of gravity, then you have to restart from a dead stop to swim forward. So just try in some way, just keep moving, just keep breathing. Breathe every stroke if you have to. Just relax. Just try to relax. Tell yourself to relax. If for some reason you start to see a lot of bubbles in front of you, that means you're coming up on a swimmer. You want to try to go to the left or the right of them. Actually, in the swimming, you can draft behind a swimmer, so you can stay real close to them and in their bubbles. But
which is huge. That'll help.
Bubbles in your face the whole time. But I would say in the swim portion, just in that first 100 meters, that's when the panic sets in, and you just think you're going to die. I've talked to lots of people, and they always say in the swim, it's in the very beginning, just because your heart's already racing so much just from the adrenaline and from being so anxious. So you just calm yourself, talk to yourself, calm yourself down, change your stroke, just try to keep moving in a forward direction and just move.
Awesome. Good. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
I don't think anyone will die.